Okay, example 2 deals with a laminar. So we've already said that our one-dimensional object, right, is a rod. Okay, that's just a straight line. It can turn up, it can turn down, clockwise, anti-clockwise, depending on where you push it. And we saw that we have to think about the force as perpendicular, right? So if it's not perpendicular, we have to resolve it. Now a laminar, and actually we're not going to deal with that many laminars in this unit. It's just going to be in this first question. It's mainly going to be about rods. But a laminar is a two-dimensional object. So take this piece of paper, that's a laminar. And again, we'd have a pivot point, and we can turn it by applying a force either clockwise or anti-clockwise. And it will work in exactly the same way as a rod. Alright, so if we look at example 2, it shows us the laminar, and it shows the forces, and it asks us to find the moment of each force. So if we look at the first one, the 5 Newton force, or the pink one, if I highlight it in pink. So the pink one is going to be, it is acting perpendicular, as you can see from this line to P. Right, it's already acting perpendicular. So all we're going to do is we're going to do the distance times the force again. So it's 5 times 2, which is 10 Newton meters Nm. And we have to decide, is it going to turn it clockwise or anti-clockwise? Well, this is the pivot here. So if we're thinking about what it's going to do, it's going to turn it round the pivot like that, isn't it? So actually that is the same as the clocks, so that is clockwise. On the other hand, I can take this one here to be the blue one. Right, again, I would like to do the same. I'd like to do distance times force, but it's not acting perpendicularly. Right, it's only at 50 degrees. So again, we have to imagine there's the perpendicular and we have to resolve it to make it a perpendicular force, right? Because whenever we're doing moments, it has to be perpendicular turning from the object. So what we do is we look at this, we look at the distance is 2 and the force is 8. So the force is 8 and it's going to be away from that 50, so it's 8 sine 50 times 2. Pop that into the calculator. Sine 50 times 2, which is going to be 12.3 Newton meters. And which way is it going to turn it? It's going to come up round here, this way, right, round the P, the pivot point. This is anti-clockwise. Okay, so there are 2 moments, one for the pink force, one for the blue force. Alright, that's it for the first lesson. So it's exercise 4A and then question 1, 2 and 3, right? Just getting a hang of what you're doing, nothing too complex. Just making sure we're doing the distance times the force, and if there's an angle that we're accounting for that and resolving it to the perpendicular before we multiply.